A special preview and kickoff bowl season for the 2025 season out in Atlanta, Georgia, as Prairie View A&M gets set to face South Carolina State for a national championship that's on the line. Lucas Hill here with you of the Southern Sports Scene. Make sure you all do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. Make sure you go and follow us on X as well at Lucas Hill SEC. Got Coach Tremaine Jackson, head coach over at Prairie View A&M, joining us here on the Southern Sports Scene live from Atlanta. So, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time and coming to talk with us, man. Good evening to you. Hopefully the festivities of Atlanta aren't wearing you out. How are you, sir?
No, doing good, Lucas. Appreciate you having us, man. And we just came back from the Champions Dinner, so we know now it's about football the rest of the way.
That's what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Coach Jackson, everywhere you've gone as a head coach, you've been a winner. You go to Colorado Mesa and you win 8 games in 2 years there. You go on and take another challenge out at the Division II level with Valdosta State. Back-to-back years, you make it to the Division II playoffs, end up in the national championship, and now you're here at Prairie View A&M, and with an opportunity to win at the first Celebration Bowl in school history, first SWAC championship that you guys have won since 2009. Talk to me about the process that you've gone through coming back to the state of Texas and the adjustment that was made just going from coaching in Division II ball and then coming back and dealing with the FCS now this year.
Yeah, when we got here, we felt like that Prairie View A&M was a competitor, could compete for a national championship. What we learned at Valdosta State is there's only so many schools in the country that actually have a chance to compete for a national title, and we felt like moving up to the SWAC and with the Celebration Bowl ties, if we could maneuver within our conference, then we'd have a unique opportunity to be in this position that we're in right now. Our staff, our administration, our players, they all bought into a vision, and we were able to work the vision, work the plan, and find ourselves here in Atlanta here in December.
You know, you guys have had a very unique road to get here to Atlanta. Started off 1-2 on the season, but I thought you were competitive in majority of those games. UTRGV, who finished with an 8-win season this year, they were the new kids on the block. You're on the road to Rice, and you're competitive there. Ended up stumbling a little bit at Alabama State, but you reel off 4 consecutive victories. Offense was clicking, and then culminating with the upset out in Jackson for the SWAC championship there. You know, talk to me about the mentality that you guys approached all season long that led to you guys being in this position.
Yeah, we took the mentality of we just wanted to put our head down and go to work and see how good we really can be, knowing that we wouldn't know the final answer to that until December 14th. Obviously, our game this week is played on the 13th. We've always said if we wake up December 14th, we got a trophy with us, then we were a really good football team, and we did a really good job. If we don't, then we got to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to get there. So winning the SWAC championship was a part of that, but I'll back up. The UTRGV game, the Alabama State game, those games were good for us. UTRGV, we were still new. We had won a thriller by 1 point in our opening game, which is a rival for us. So there was a lot of adrenaline there, and we were able to teach our guys that just because you were successful last week, it has no bearing on this coming week. And so we needed to learn that lesson. Those guys did a really good job of coaching. And then when we got to the Alabama State game, we had dominated October. We had won some big games that we hadn't won around here in a long time, and we need to learn how to finish and how to play in big football games. I will tell you quite honestly, if we don't lose to Alabama State, I don't know if we beat Jackson State. And so it's kind of one of those deals where we were able to teach some things off of it and get ourselves prepared, not just for the moment of the SWAC championship game, but for this moment this weekend.
Your quarterback, Cam Peters, has been on fire the last 4 games of the season, and he's stayed on as one of the more underrated quarterbacks in all of AS football. High completion percentage, very smart with the football. Starting to see him use some of his wheels a bit more. Talk to me about how his game has evolved over the course of the season.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. He had some ups and downs in the beginning, but he was able to bounce back mid-season and be our leader from then on. Cam's a good player, and good players, they find ways to win, and he's a great competitor. He does a good job for us, in the locker room as well as on the field. But he will tell you it's his supporting cast that makes him what he is. And so, all in all, he's a senior. He's been through a lot. He's played a lot, and to have the season that he's having right now, and for us to be having the season that we're having, I think they complement each other very well. And Cam's been a big part of that.
Talk to me about that supporting cast that you guys have. I know, obviously, with a guy like Chase Bingman that gives you that other edge on the ground game. Very hard runner, averages almost 6 yards a carry running the football. And Cam's number one target, Josiah Rockwell.
Yeah, those two guys have been very instrumental to our offensive success, especially here lately. We started off kind of rocky offensively, trying to find a rhythm, and that's to be expected when you put a lot of new guys together for the first time. But with Chase, to be as young as he is, he's been able to run the ball effectively. And you see the maturation of his growth as the season goes on. He fumbled against UTRGV while we were trying to go down and win the game, and then he ends up winning games later on in this season. Josiah Rockwell was a guy from Sam Houston that didn't play very much. Got here, found a niche, found where he could fit in the offense. Now he's got over 1,000 yards, and I believe he's broke the single season record here at Prairie A&M. And so he's done a really good job at buying into who we are, not worrying about necessarily getting the ball, but being the best teammate he can be, and the ball finds a way to get to him.
Your defense has been incredible the last 4 games, averaging just 11 points a game. You're a defense guy. You're a former defense coordinator at the Division I level as well. Just talk to me about this defense, who we need to look out for this weekend, and what you're expecting to see just coming from a South Carolina State offensive standpoint, that a guy, what their quarterback does, they like to get a lot. They like the field, and I know you guys have obviously had a lot of time to study this week to prepare for this.
Yeah, well, they've had more time than us. They've been off for 3 weeks. We kind of in the normal game week, but with us defensively, those guys call themselves a no-name defense. Nobody really knew their name coming in. Nobody really knew if they could play or if they couldn't. Certainly, the all-conference awards wouldn't tell you that they were any good, just based off the voting. And so those guys decide every single day that they're going to go out and prove that they're the best in the country. And so far, they've been able to do that. And they've got one big test with South Carolina State left in front of them, who likes to throw the ball down the field, take shots to open up the run game, but they formation you to death. They got a lot of different things that they do to try to make it tough on defenses, and so probably one of the most multiple offenses we've seen. Really good quarterback that's like a point guard. He distributes the ball and can make all the throws. And so we got a challenge in front of us that we're gonna have to answer the bell on Saturday.
Really excited to see what Billy Atkins gives you guys' defense a little bit of. You mentioned our big arm, former James Madison quarterback, so definitely a lot of experience at that point in time. And like you mentioned, I watched them because I covered South Carolina during this past season as well. Got to watch them a little bit when they play South Carolina. And if you think about this, South Carolina had 3 non-defensive touchdowns, and so for the majority of that, if you take away those 3, it's a 17-10 ball game, and South Carolina State was very much in this football game throughout that majority during the week 2 of that game. But like you mentioned, I think that this defense too for SC State, very aggressive up front. I think their secondary does have some weak spots, of course, but I think you guys are obviously going to exploit that. What have you seen overall as a defense, what they're going to bring and what you guys' offense has been able to do just to prepare for what they bring to the day?
Yeah, I think they play extremely hard. They got a lot of length. They get off the ball really well. Defensive football is about tackling. And I think these guys get off blocks and they make tackles, and so they leverage the football where it's supposed to. They try to force it to the extra fitter. They've got good players, and this time of year when you're playing for the national championship, you would expect both teams to have good players. You don't just get here by not having good players. So it's no surprise to us that they have really good players on that side of the ball, especially, and they're really good in the red zone. And so we got to make sure that we do our part and execute and stay on schedule on offense.
Really excited to see this one. Talk to me about the relationship that you and Coach Chennis Berry has developed over the course of the week. Obviously, he's been around having to take over for a very legendary head coach over at South Carolina State himself. And you did what did last year and got to the Celebration Bowl again last year. This is obviously you guys' first time. What's been the adjustment been like for you and the rest of the guys being in Atlanta?
Well, it's been a regular business as usual for us being here. We try to keep things very similar to, we came in Tuesday night, we're at a bowl game, but school is out now for us, finals are over. We just try to keep our meetings and things, keep the flow of practice of how we go about it, the same. And so our guys have done a really good job of challenging me to make sure we don't change things so that they don't have to change things, and then we keep a even flow.
Really excited for this weekend. Celebration Bowl kicking off the bowl season here in college football. Really, really fun game this weekend for a national champion that will be crowned. Coach Tremaine Jackson, we appreciate you taking some time and talking with us. Kickoff noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Want to thank our good friends, as always, over at Frost Buddy. Going over to frostbuddy.com. Use code LESS15 to get 15% off of all things coffee mugs, tumblers, whatever you name it, they got it. Also want to thank our friends at Chike Nutrition. Going over to Chike Nutrition, use our link down below and get yourself 10% off of the best coffee that's available. 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 1 gram of fat. Coach Jackson, have a great rest of the week. Thank you for spending some time with us on a very busy week for you as well. So we look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Thank you. Go Panthers.